Good morning, everyone. Or good evening, if that suits you better. Or good afternoon. Take your pick. This is Reed. And this is...
Lee.
And you're watching...
MOI.
Yeah, good try, Lee. We're working on getting this figured out. Today, we have a video. We're going to talk about everyone's favorite prepping food. MREs. The superfood every prepper needs. Well, at least they say so. A lot of people, when they first start getting involved in preparedness, they think, hey, you know, soldiers eat these. Gotta go get these. Well, it's something to do. Now, Lee and I started actually using MREs as some of our base preparedness items as well. It was sort of a beginning introduction, you know, to what we're going to do with these. And I never served in the military myself, and I'd never played with these at all. So I really didn't know what the heck I was doing, and found a random MRE type thing, ordered it, got it shipped to me, took it home and said, hey, we're going to have it for dinner. They were a little foreign. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, they were a little foreign to start out with, but they ended up turning out really good, actually.
That's the other interesting thing. There's a lot of people that say they're horrible, they're disgusting, they're the worst thing in the world.
That's not really true. It's actually, they're pretty darn tasty. It just depends on the menu and your tastes, like every other item out there.
Yeah, there's some that I don't particularly like that much in some of the menu selections, but a good chunk of them I actually do. Now, would I want to eat nothing but MREs all the time for the apocalypse? Can you imagine eating year after year only MREs?
No, I'm sorry. Not happening.
Yeah, you go crazy. You go absolutely crazy. However, these have a really nice place in preparedness. I wanted to go over them a bit. Now this one, you see here, this is an MRE that is a military style. Actually, it is a military issue MRE. This one is meatballs with marinara sauce.
That's a really good flavor. It's amazing how well that they can make some of this food. And I find that I really do like this one quite a bit.
So, Lee's going to eat this one tonight. Let me show you some of the other types of MREs that exist. Here is one called an EverSafe meal kit. This is actually the first type I started with when I ordered and found it off of Amazon, believe it or not. I think it was Sopac Co. or something like that. Brand that actually stuff when they send it to you. Didn't know what the heck I was getting entirely. I was actually pretty excited when the box showed up. Opened it up and discovered this. Although it's not really glamorous. But I opened it up, put it on the bed and said, hey, Lee, guess what's dinner?
MRE? What's that?
Exactly. Had no idea. Tried it out though. And the first time we messed with it, some parts of it we liked, other parts were horrible. And then we realized, oh, you got to prepare it a little differently. Particularly, the cocoa beverage powder does need hot water. It doesn't dissolve very well in the cold water, otherwise you end up with clumps and it just tastes...
Yeah, very true. And the other thing that we discovered is when it says 6 ounces, they really do mean 6 ounces.
Otherwise it's just, you know, semi-chocolate flavored...
liquid.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Stuff.
So stick to the actual sizing. Even though it sounds crazy. 6 ounces of water? How in the heck is this dairy shake going to use 6 ounces of water? It actually does. And dairy shakes are actually something I do like. I'll tell you about those. Now here's a menu. It says this one is penny pasta with vegetable crunchables and a spicy tomato sauce. Lee, have you had that one?
I have had that one, and it's actually pretty darn good. Especially for a vegetarian option.
Yeah, this is one thing. Here's another. This one is by a different company. It's called APAC, and they're ready meals. These ones I don't think are on the market anymore. Now, these have more stuff in them. Whoops. Let me get that back up here. So these have a little more stuff in them than this one. This one actually per meal has more calories than this one. And I like this one. I think it might be back. I'll have to check. There's a great resource on the internet for all things MREs for people that are getting interested in this. When you first start, I highly recommend you check it out. I did not know about it when I started. I randomly picked something off of Amazon, which I often do, randomly pick things off of Amazon. So some are winners, some are horrible. But don't do what I did. Be a little smart about it. The website is in the description. It's called MRE Info, and they've got all sorts of info. Plus, the guy who maintains it also has a YouTube channel, which I'll put a link to because he has lots of reviews on the menus. And this one says it is spaghetti with an Italian-style meat sauce. Lee, have you had that?
I've had this one as well. The best analogy for this one, I know it's going to sound weird, but is actually Chef Boyardee spaghetti in a can. They taste so similar, and they're not bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you can stomach that, you're fine. These are not fine dining by anything out there. However, they will keep you fed, which is a plus. Now here is another one out there, and this one is just, oh yeah, this is just Sopatco's very plain labeled MRE. This one has a little more stuff than the Eversafe. Oops, I guess Eversafe isn't Sopatco. Sorry, I've got that wrong. So Eversafe is not Sopatco, it's another brand. But this is Sopatco's one, and this one is chicken pesto pasta. And I think Lee actually likes that one.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's like a lovely little treat to find when you're looking through your MRE boxes.
When I was out looking for MREs and stuff when I was first getting into this, like I said, I didn't know entirely what I was doing. I bought some, well, they just plain sucked. Let me show you one. This one sucks. And you might think, hey, these brown boxes, they look the same as the other one, right? Sure do. In fact, some of them are actually made by the same company.
And in reality, they are the same brown boxes with the same food in them. However, the additional components in the packages, that's what's different. And they also have fewer calories than the other ones have.
One example is like they have these, what they call like freedom crackers, I think, in here. They're like animal crackers. I liked them when they were fresh. The only thing is, it turns out they go rancid quickly. Like these ones are now a couple years old now. Well, actually, I think about 5 years old, this particular one. And if you open these crackers, we opened one recently, well, they're completely rancid. They smell like rancid oil. Really unpleasant.
Yeah.
The crackers are completely hard as tacks. Unpleasant. The jelly didn't keep very well. So you've got your brown boxes and some candy here.
Candy's good.
The candy's fine, but you're getting very few calories, and it didn't keep very well. This was a bad investment. So we're gonna consume the actual main entree parts and cycle them out, but never buy this again. And I don't even remember what brand this was. As you can see, it's not really labeled and stuff. Like I say, buying stuff off Amazon and the internet isn't always your best bet. That's why it's also very important to get your MREs from a very reputable source. And I'll put some links in the description from places I buy from that carry good quality MREs, civilian or military. Just the military ones, they've really been out of stock lately. I mean, horribly out of stock. I'm having a heck of a time finding them. Kind of makes me wonder what the heck's going on, why the supply is so darn short.
When we get notification that there are some of the government MREs in stock, those things go fast. Like 10 minutes and they're gone. So everybody wants those items.
It's really weird. Don't entirely know what's going on with that. It's just kind of weird, like I say. I'm not going to put on my tinfoil hat and start pontificating all sorts of conspiracy theories. Well, not yet at least. Later we will get to that. But for now, we'll keep this channel nice and sane.
So one of the things that we learned while we were working with our MREs is that our cats actually like some of the MREs. There's a chicken breast menu option. Oh my gosh, the cats adore those chicken breasts. You just cut them up in little pieces and they go gaga over that. If I ever need a cat to eat something, chicken breast, MREs are the best for that.
Kind of weird, I know, but if you're into this sort of thing, we're all kind of weird. And you learn something new. So there you go. If you have a cat, try the chicken breast option. There's also a tuna option. And
oh, yeah.
Cats also love the tuna. I'm not exactly a fan of that one. I'm kind of picky on tuna, so that MRE menu isn't the one I love the best. You may be wondering, hey, what the heck is the difference between military MRE and civilian MRE? Turns out there's a couple differences. Not all of them matter, but one does. Depending on the brand of civilian MRE you buy, the military one will beat it in calorie count by a huge margin. Some of the civilian MREs only have an average of around 800 to 700 and something calories. The military MRE usually averages out at about 1,200 to 1,300 calories. It's a heavy hitter.
What about the heaters that are in the MREs? Don't some of the civilian ones not come with heaters?
That's the other oddball thing. Some of the civilian ones, when you purchase them, have no heaters in them. You gotta be careful when you pick that. Now, in terms of the actual heaters that are in here, if you get them with heaters, they're the same thing. And they work really well. One of the other differences we run into with these is the accessories in here are different than the accessories often in here. These ones include toilet paper, matches, things like that. These ones don't always include toilet paper and matches. Well, actually, I've never seen one that included toilet paper. Some of these actually include matches, which can be a real help if you're, out there. The other thing I like about the military MREs is they also have a much wider selection in the menu. The civilian MRE options that they often pack up, you'll get a case of 12, and they've got 6 menu options. So you get, 2 of each. The military MREs have 24 menu options. So when you buy cases A, you get 12 distinct meals, and a case B, you get the other half of that, 12 other distinct meals. So there's 24 menu options. And some of the menu options the military has are really darn tasty. I really look forward to having their variability. The civilian ones, you get a couple of tasty ones, and they're pretty good. But some of the ones that, it's like, ugh, I want to eat, 4 of this flavor over and over again. If you buy a couple cases of it, like, not really. The other thing that's pretty darn cool about the military version is they have a wide selection of the sides. They have different selections of cookies, different selections of pound cake, different selections of muffin tops. I mean, all sorts of odd things. They have different flavors of the peanut butter. They have, peanut butter. They have cheese spread. They have cheese spread with bacon, cheese spread with jalapenos for the crackers. Different types of crackers, different types of breads. Really big selection. That's why these are often preferred, is you have a much bigger variety of what is inside these. These, even though the entree is different, the sides are almost always identical. And that can be a little annoying. So when I'm purchasing these, if I can get my hands on the military ones, if they're available from a reputable source, I'm gonna buy the military ones. What do you think of my summary, Lee?
I think that was a really good summary. One of the other things, that the military ones have, they're more drink options as well. Whereas some of the civilian ones, you get the exact same drink in every package. And if you don't like that drink, well, I'm sorry, you're stuck. And that gets really tiring over time. Yeah,
it's kind of neat. Like, you'll have hot cocoa, French vanilla cappuccino. There's different types of Gatorade, cherry Gatorade, grape Gatorade, lemon lime Gatorade. They also include coffee in here with creamers, or you'll have a spiced cider, iced tea. Really nice variety and stuff. And they often change it from year to year. So when you buy these and you rotate them out, which you have to do because all things spoil, you have to rotate these out. So you do need to consume these if you're going to use these. You'll see that they change it up. Suddenly, it's meatballs with marinara sauce. But instead of it having, hot cocoa for the drink mix, the next year it's got French vanilla cappuccino or something like that. It's pretty interesting. Also, it seems like who packs it for the military in the contract, they vary it a little bit. So sometimes you'll notice a little couple variances. And the variety, honestly, is a big help. What else do you think, Lee?
I think you've covered it really, really well there, actually.
Now, it's really important. We're going to show you how to use this. Because if you are like us when you first started messing with these, you have no idea. With all the horror stories surrounding what is contained inside of this, why on earth would you want to employ this in your get-home bag? Well, one of the things I absolutely adore about MREs is they are a self-contained meal. And they are a self-contained meal that can provide 2 meals. Or 3 if you're going to stretch it. The other thing is you've got items you can eat now and items you can eat later as snacks. That is the one thing I really love about these. The other thing is you don't need to do much to it to get it ready. You just add a little water and it heats up. Or you can eat it cold. But you don't have to cook anything. There's nothing to like rehydrate. That's the problem I have if I'm going to pack these away in my bags or travel stuff like that and it's freeze-dried stuff. Is if I don't have water and a heat source, well, I got some crunching to do. And it's going to make my mouth a complete desert. Take every ounce of saliva I got and be gone. And I have so many problems with food as it is on swallowing, like I talked about in that one video. That's the last thing I need. Last. These, like I said, they are self-contained. Plus, on the freeze-dried food, like those pouches, you open that up, you mix it up, that's what you got to eat. That menu item, that flavor, that's what you got to eat. If you got and it's a set of servings. You can't save it for a couple days or set it aside to consume later. It will spoil. Trust me, I know how quickly freeze-dried Mountain House mac and cheese goes bad.
Yeah.
And boy, does it go bad. It stinks. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Although it's really tasty. Trust me, the product is great. But that is one of the issues that you sometimes have. These, like I said, you got several items. You can say, oh, hey, you know what? Don't want to have the hot meal right now. We're walking, we're moving along. Let's have crackers and peanut butter. Hey, no problem. You open up your peanut butter, open the crackers, start snacking, eating away on that. Works pretty well. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, that does really work very well. One of the other really good things about these, having the individual components, is maybe you're just not hungry for crackers right now, and maybe 2 years down the road you're still not hungry for those crackers. Some random reason. Who knows why? Anyways, they still keep. Not like freeze-dried. Once it's opened, it tells you how long you have to eat that, and really, they know what they're talking about. The mac and cheese, horrid after its length of time sitting in an open can. Don't do that.
Obviously, we have tried freeze-dried food. We love freeze-dried food.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. But am I going to pack a bunch of freeze-dried food in my travel bags and, get home bags and stuff like that? No. I'm actually going to pack these. One thing I love about these is I can grab a couple cases, set up, they're packed up, ready. I throw them in the car. We're good to go. We got food. We got a variety of food. And we both have stuff we both like. The other thing that's also kind of neat about the individual packages is I open it up and I find, oh, hey, that side, not really a fan. Lee says, hey, that's a side I'll eat. You can trade them up. It's really easy. Plus, the other thing is crackers like that. Well, take a canned salmon or, sardines. Hey, you can make salmon patties or have sardines and crackers. It's really nice. I love that. So you can take a couple cases, throw them in your car, got food. The other thing is, like I said, these are heavy hitters on calories. If you are just bugged in, holding down, you can eat, 1.5 of these a day. You got 2,000 calories. And the other oddball thing about this food, I don't know what magic or dark arts are involved in here, but it really sticks to your ribs. I don't know why, but I'm not usually starving like if I go get fast food after eating some of this stuff. It really sticks with you. I don't know what it is, but it does. Now, there's other stories out there, legends, terrifying tales about MREs, turning people into producing hard, super impossible to pass logs.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let me tell you, I have a very productive digestive system. I've never had any trouble with these. In fact, they sit and go through me just fine. Lee, have you had any trouble with...
Me, on the other hand, I have a very unproductive digestive system.
But has it made it any worse?
Nope. Not a single change in that either.
So, I don't know. Some people probably have a major issue with those. They've never bugged me.
Yeah, we're pretty good, so they're set for us, definitely. And I think that they're set for quite a few other people, too.
Yeah. Now, of course, like I said, am I going to want to eat this every day of the apocalypse? No, I am not. Okay, so if we have to, evacuate, fires are coming, it's bug out time, I'm throwing 2 cases of MREs, or maybe 4 cases of MREs in the pickup, loading everything else up, and getting going. I got meal options. I know I don't have to worry too much about it. I don't have to, carry a bin full of heavy cans that's going to, crack the handles and smash my toes out to the driveway as I get going. Now, I love canned food. I also stock that, use that constantly as well. But, really appreciate these. Throw them in the car, get going. Like I also said is, you don't have to worry about the issues with the spoilage real quick. And they have a decent variety. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree and say, you need freeze-dried food. That's the best option out there. I disagree. I actually think these are a really good option. Throw them in, get going, got food. It will keep you alive. It will feed you. You're set pretty well. And it tastes pretty good. I actually do like quite a few of the meal options. I mean, like, they've got, vegetable stew and beef. Really good. They got a brisket and gravy. What are some of the ones you like?
The meatballs and marinara sauce is a really good one. The vegetable stew, also another good one. The chicken breast, like we mentioned, and the beef patty. Those are both really good. Oh, yeah, those are quite good. It kind of is like a hamburger. You put it in the bread stuff, and you can put some condiments and stuff on it. Oh, yeah, they also have a pork rib that was real good. Love that. I don't know if it's on the current menu. They got some cool ones I want to try that are, chili with beans. We also like that. You also loved the... yeah, they had a buffalo chicken flavor. That was really good. I ate a ton of those, actually, because they were really good. It's no longer made anymore, which is very sad. So sad. But I liked it. Anyways, that is our plan. So if we got to evacuate, stuff like that, throwing them in there. I also really like these for patrolling options or backpacking issues. You can throw these in a pack or whatever for the day, and you got to go head up to a new point when SHTF happens and investigate things. You got food. You got stuff you can snack on, and if for some reason you got stuck out and you couldn't get back to home or the main base, you got some food options. Plus, you can also send people out and say, I need you to go, it's like a day out. They got food options, it's easy. They're not the lightest thing in the world. Like I said, they have everything you need to prepare the food and consume it contained inside. So I actually don't fault them too bad on the weight. But they're not super heavy. However, freeze-dried will beat them out in the weight. Like I said, though, what you got's what you got when you're going to eat it. You got to add water, got to boil it, and so on and so forth. Freeze-dried does taste a bit better in certain areas. I do have to give them that for sure. But I mainly stock freeze-dried for home consumption use and to add a lot of variety to things. It's not going to be my travel with and, get home or bug out plan with. It's not really my first option. Believe it or not, it's going to be these. What do you think, Lee? I think you've summarized that really well, actually.
Now, the other thing, you're probably wondering, Reed, how long does it keep for? Well, believe it or not, this is 7 years old. And we've had others that are 8 years old. We keep them inside the house in a cool, dry place. They're going to keep quite well. The room averages around 70 degrees. And at that temperature, they will keep for around 10 to 11 years. I've had no issues with them, actually. Now, we don't consume them constantly, but we've got a bit of an older set. That's why we got some out now that we're consuming so we can replace with fresher ones. It's always important to keep the stock rotated.
So, when it's time for us to rotate our stock, I don't mind eating these on a regular basis. Sometimes we'll go weeknights, real quick, easy option for us to make. Each one of us get an entree out, eat it away, and then sometimes the entree doesn't quite hold me the entire night, so then I eat one of the snacks, and I am good to go for the night.
Works well. I honestly quite like it. We've done it for lunches plenty of times. Or some mornings, like, it's really hectic. It's kind of funny. We'll go into work with an MRE for consumption for the day. Yes, some of my coworkers have looked at me really strangely. But there you go. Life with Reed is strange.
Yes, it is.
But it does work, and work well. If you're considering buying these and wondered about them, check the descriptions. I've got some good sources to get them. You may not be able to get the military MREs all the time. However, a lot of the civilian options are really good. The only thing I've said is check the menu to see what you're getting in a case. There are some civilian ones out there. I have not tried them yet, but they actually do have 12 distinct menu options in a case now. And I think it's a really big improvement. So do take a look at the resources in the link in the description for links to see where to get some of this stuff. I do not really recommend eBay for getting this stuff. I have done it in the past and found that people poorly stored things. It is not very encouraging when you open an MRE that's supposed to be just a year or two old and it looks like in condition of one that is more close to the end of its life. I do not like that. So I do not recommend eBay. There might be a store on eBay that from a very reputable seller, so use them if they have an eBay store if you want to use eBay for some reason. But they would actually do better if you bought them directly from their website because eBay takes a really high cut out of sellers. But like I said, don't shy away from these. These have a good place in preparedness. And a really good place for that is bugging out, get home bags, and so on. Like if you check out Steve over on Corsair Trainers, he mentions them several times in his bags he's making about using torn up MREs or rearranged MREs in his equipment. He's probably thinking similar lines like me of why you should use an MRE. And the other thing, as I said, well, they're not bad. Really not. I mean, there's a couple of menu items I don't like, but she likes them just fine. Vice versa. There you go. And there's actually some options out there for gluten-free people. And I will put a link for those in the description. If you need gluten-free, they exist. What do you think, Lee?
Actually, the gluten-free thing, that's a new thing. I don't remember seeing those the 7 years ago when we originally bought these.
No, it is new. It is a new development. But it also tells you how the prepared market is changing. A lot more people are really starting to dig into this stuff and realize, maybe the government isn't always going to be there to run to our aid immediately. We will need to provide for ourselves for a while until services return.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good option as well.
Let's make this to show you what we got here. Now, to open these, a lot of them, you just peel here at the top. And sometimes you need a bit of strength to do it. And the military ones are sort of like Christmas in a weird way, because you're like, ooh, what's in there? Let's see what we got here. We got, garlic mashed potatoes. This is a pretty good side.
Yeah, it is. I was like, hey, not bad for a side.
Jalapeno cashews.
Neither one of us can eat those right now, but a friend of ours can.
Like I said, chili peppers and me, oh boy. I love them to death, but I am allergic. Ooh! We both like this. The First Strike energy bar.
Oh, I thought that was beef jerky.
Oh, they have beef jerky in them too.
That's also what I thought it was. No, you can have that.
Oh, she doesn't like this. I like this. I quite like this. Yeah. Ah, the accessory pack. And this one we have coffee. Ooh, and we've got
lemonade.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen that before.
I
think a couple times.
Yeah. So
in these, I just don't know.
Yeah, this is we're opening. We're going through a set of cases we haven't dealt with on years before. So, got some surprises like lemonade and stuff. Now the coffee, the Taster's Choice. I was afraid of freeze-dried coffee for a long time. learned out quite good.
Taster's Choice is a very good one. Your freeze-dried coffee, great. Your air-dried coffee, on the other hand, that's not so tasty. So I always stick to freeze-dried. Ooh, nice. Tortillas are really good. The one thing that I've noticed about their tortillas, for me at least, is that they're a little bit on the sweeter side. But they still taste pretty good.
Cheese spread. This stuff is pretty tasty. It's, well, you know the odd flavored cheese stuff we used to snack on as kids that you think he's going to make you glow in the dark and...
Cheese whiz.
Stuff like that? This is it. But still tasty. Now the other interesting thing about the MREs we notice on like the peanut butter, the cheese, and a lot of other stuff, it says fortified. And you look at it, they added quite a bit of nutrition and vitamins. That's a really good thing, honestly. Because I often wonder, in a major problems going on, how many people are going to have poor nutrition and have some big issues with it. And one of the things I love about the MREs actually is they actually put a lot of extra stuff in them. You can get some extra nutrition and vitamins out of consuming one of these things. So that's another thing to consider on it.
Another really good thing about at least the government MREs is that on every package you have a calorie count on each individual item. So you know exactly how much you are eating. And it also doesn't just give you calorie counts. It gives you your everyday standard nutrition label items.
Of course, marinara sauce with meatballs. Actual entree. That's pretty good. We'll start here with the entree, consume that, and sort of wrap up and give it a review. Lee can say how much she dislikes it or doesn't like it. And you can see what an 8-year-old MRE looks like. The other thing is we'll show how to use the flameless ration heater. One of the things that struck me is when Katrina happened, it was interesting. They had all these people go, the Superdome or that big stadium or stuff like that. And the government brought in MREs to feed everyone. Tons of people had no idea how to use the darn things. So the veterans that were there were spending time showing everyone around them, okay, put this in here, set this up, do that. Because actually, there's a little bit of getting this to work. Now, one thing, the older MREs get, the weaker the heater gets. Now there's a quick hack to get a little more oomph out of it when they cross about the 5 to 6 year mark. Put a little salt in there. The salt water, for some reason, causes the reaction to be a little more vigorous. And so it does heat it up better, a lot better. I'm going to add some salt to these ration heaters so they heat up the entree quite well. We forgot, there's some stuff hiding down here. Let me get this stuff out. We also have beverage.
Lemon lime flavored powder. Beverage base powder, sorry.
It makes Gatorade effectively.
Yeah.
And it tastes pretty good. And of course, the spoon. The almighty spoon. I've often wondered why they don't use a spork, actually. But the spoon does work very well for eating everything. I am going to consume this one. This is cheese tortellini. And it's basically Chef Boyardee cheese tortellini and tomato sauce. It's not a 5-star dinner, but heck, it's food. And it does taste pretty good. Let me show you what's in one of these civilian EverSafe meal kits. And these ones are pretty good. I do like these ones as well. We have almond poppy seed pound cake.
Nice.
And I like that one. Standard crackers. And these are just like saltine crackers. Except there's no salt on them.
Yeah, I was like, they're a little saltless. But they still taste pretty good.
Skittles!
Skittles are awesome. Now, these are going to be a little hard right now because ours are so old. But when they're fresh, they're still really good.
Hey, Gatorade. It's lemon lime. Stuff. Then we have our cheese tortellini for the entree.
Do we have a condiment or accessory pack? Oh, there's our accessory pack with our spoon.
It has a spoon. It's got salt and pepper, sugar, coffee, and creamer. Now, in these EverSafe, these are all identical. There is no variation. In the government military MREs, there is variation in accessories. I mean, some of them have a little tiny thing of Tabasco sauce for the entrees. Some of them have barbecue sauce or other things. It's interesting what little additions. Also, the drinks vary. There you'll see ciders, teas, coffees, so on and so forth. These are identical. Most of the accessories for the sides on this are also identical. They do vary at the candy. Like I've got some that have peanut M&Ms in them. Others regular M&Ms. The beverages are usually going to be all the same. You're going to always get a cracker. And like I said, there's no peanut butter in here. There's no jelly.
Oh!
You got...
That's so wrong.
Exactly. You got plain, desertine crackers. So
they're good, but you need some moisture.
Yeah, it needs some other flavor. There's no salt on these either.
Yeah.
So I will eat these with a can of sardines later.
See? Saving things for later.
Exactly. Now the pound cake, these ones do vary some of the dessert items or some of the extra side options you get. And the pound cake's quite nice. There's others that have additional sides and stuff like that. So there we go. Now, I'm going to get the salt to get this going out of the accessory pack from the military MRE. And all it takes is half the salt packet per ration heater. So we got 2 rations to heat up. I'm going to put half the salt in one, half the salt in another. We'll be good to go. Let's show you what we got in here. We got iodized salt. We have... Oh, wait, no. It's butter. It's this powdered butter. It goes on the mashed potatoes. And this is pretty good. This is pretty good, actually. We've used that before.
Non-dairy creamer.
Yep.
Splenda.
They vary between sugar, Splenda, and other stuff for a sweetener on the coffee. And such.
Your 6-ounce coffee taster's choice.
And it's pretty good. We like it.
Gum. It's a minty gum. And the theory behind this, and it's actually a pretty good one, is that it allows the soldiers to be able to chew on something. And if you're chewing on gum, a lot of times you're more alert. So that's why one of the reasons why they provide it.
I kind of thought it was also to help with dental hygiene.
Yeah, that too, probably.
Got a moist towelette to clean yourself up with. And toilet paper. This is also a very good fire starter. Now this one does not have matches, but a lot of the military MREs have matches as well. Now, trust me, I have a Ziploc bag full of MRE toilet paper and MRE matches. We tend to not waste things, but I got a huge supply of them, so if you buy these, prepare to actually save some of this stuff.
One of the interesting things about the toilet paper I found is that we actually used some of it as a backup because we ran out of toilet paper one day. The toilet paper are those little squares. They're not like a roll of stuff that you can peel off your individual lengths with. No, they're just little squares that you peel up. And they're just a little more interesting to use. But it's still toilet paper. At least you still have toilet paper.
So you can get your business done if you absolutely have to. However, there's a really cool product that does a great job that's not exactly toilet paper, but it's wonderful. We'll show it later. However, there's another prepper on the channel of YouTube that has covered it really well. He's sort of known as the toilet paper guy. I'm certain some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'll just give my take on it eventually. And here's our salt. Let me get this split up and set in the ration heaters.
To open the ration heaters, you just rip where it tells you to. It says, here. Okay, got it. We're good.
Well, if you can grab it.
For the salt, he's just going to split it in half. Sprinkle half of it into one, half of it into the other. Again, this is just helping the chemical reaction to take place a little bit better because these are older heaters. And for some reason, they provide a lot of salt.
They do. I mean, if with all the salt that's in the product and then adding more salt, I often wonder how come more soldiers don't stroke out. But honestly, for what they're aiming for is these are people on the move, carrying heavy packs, heavy loads. They're going to be sweating themselves crazy. Extra salt is going to be helpful. Now, if you're just, like I said, bugging in or setting up a tent and hanging out in a place or something like that and you're eating these, you're going to have a higher salt content. I highly recommend consuming additional water to deal with that.
So now we have the salt in there. We're just opening each one of our packages up. We'll pull his cheese tortellini out and my meatballs with marinara sauce.
And you see it says cheese tort. It's a cheese tort. But here's what an actual MRE packet is. Now, if you're wondering, this is actually a Mylar pouch. So it's got layers of Mylar and stuff in here. That's what it is. Now, works well. And it preserves it really well. Like I said, this is 7, 8 years old. And the way we get these set up is what I do. If you pull this up a bit.
Do you want to show what the flameless ration or the
okay.
the thingy looks like? Yeah, it's this cloth enclosed, little sectioned out set of chemicals.
Well, it's actually well, I can't remember at the exact moment what this is, but it just produces, reacts with water, produces an exothermic reaction, generates heat, releases hydrogen gas. Which, if you saw the other video, there is a side effect of hydrogen gas you must be aware of if you have carbon monoxide detectors.
Now, you don't need to worry about it if you're doing 1 or 2 heaters. It's going to be just fine. If you're doing a whole bunch of them and randomly they're sitting next to the carbon monoxide thing.
Well, actually, if you had a large group of people, like I said, 10 people, and you did it, they actually make a fair amount of gas in an enclosed space. And actually, the government has a warning about that. If you are heating up a number of these in an enclosed space, do not produce any open flames. They're worried about a possible explosion. It's a fair amount of hydrogen gas, actually. So you could easily set off your carbon monoxide detectors. Anyways, we get it set up like this. So now it says, do not overfill. Make it sound like the biggest warning out there. I've often, when I pour in some water, been a bit over the line. It's not a big issue. Just don't fill it up to halfway or something ridiculous. If you're just a bit over, it's not gonna matter. Don't panic. But they do make it seem like dire consequences await you if you overfill this packet. But really, it's not that bad. We take some actual water. Oh, water, please, Lee.
Water. In a silver cup. Yeah.
No, it's a chalice. It's a grand chalice.
A little bit more.
Add a little bit more. Okay, so you can see we actually are a little bit over the line. It's not a huge issue. We'll put this down. So now the food is down a ways. And we've got, I don't know if you can make it out, I've got to push the ration heater down. I'm going to put it down a ways.
And center it along the packet of food.
Fold it over here. And put it in the food.
Back into the box.
We put the food in the packet, back into the box. Tuck this all in. Lay it on its side. I shake it a little bit.
Shake.
And if we listen, you can hear it start to bubble up. Let me bring it close to the microphone. I believe the microphone has picked it up. So if you hear crackling and hissing, that is the flameless ration heater working. We set a timer for 12 minutes and the food will be ready. But we're going to put this in a window because, like I said, it releases gas. And actually, I'm not too fond of the smell. It's a little odd. Ooh, very vigorous. I'm going to let you hear this. Lee, go put this in the window. Now, here's what the meatballs and marinara looks like. Now this one actually, it opens a little differently. It's on a side open like this. You can actually eat this once you cut it open real quick, or tear open, right out of the pouch. Works great. We're going to set this up the same way. Oops. A little easier to get in.
And wiggle everything down.
No, water.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Order of operations failed.
Whoop. Nope, that's good.
Yay!
We got water. That in there.
Now scoot the food down. Scoot the little heater bit down. Fold it over. Stick it back in the pouch.
And you have to put it back in fairly quickly. These actually get going quite well. They can really heat up in your hand. You're like, whoo, hot, 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 hot. Activation away. Lee, get this set up. Now when you're getting these set up and heating away, they actually need it on a slight tilt. Not something like this. I've seen people do that. It doesn't work as well.
It doesn't work in the heating.
You just like this. Like this, little tilt, works really well. If you have it totally flat, it's just going to leak water everywhere. It will still heat up, but it's going to leak stuff everywhere. It just makes a mess. So you need a slight tilt. The food is done, and I am burning my hands. It is quite warm when it is all said and done, basically. Let's get this out. Yeah. This part in the back, it's hot.
It's
as you just
very
saw.
hot.
Yeah. Grab this thing, reach in gingerly and pull this, pull that out. Ta-da! Here, why don't you mash that up? Tell me if it's warm.
Ooh, nice and toasty, warm. Lovely, lovely little meatballs in here too. So, like Reed said earlier, on the meatballs, it's a side pouch one. So, since there is a little notch here, you just grab and pull open. Awesome, wonderful. And that's what it looks like inside. Really tasty.
We're going to pour it out so you can get a much better view.
All the wonderful sauce. Okay.
Now you actually have a decent amount of food here and sauce and stuff. Thanks. And do you want tortillas to eat it with? She's going to eat it directly. It's fine. Grab yours.
Okay. I'm hungry.
Actually, this is dinner for us tonight.
One thing, I know you probably can't see this on the camera, but there's little steam thingies, wisps, there we go, coming off of this. This is a really good, this is a really good meatball and marinara sauce one, because I forgot how good the marinara sauce is. Oh gosh.
Like I said, she quite likes it. I actually like this meal too. However, it is one of her favorites. Now this cheese tortellini, I'm not going to call it my top favorite, but it's also quite tasty. I will eat this without much trouble. And yeah, it's hot. This one actually is a side packet. I thought because the label was stuff, they didn't side packet it, but they did on this one just fine. Let me get this opened up so you can take a look at it. Thank you, Lee. Okay, we got it.
Oh, we got them all. Oh, I forgot about how this one is.
Yep. And this one has a lot of steam coming off of it too. I don't know if it's visible on the camera, but you can see it just kind of wafting up. You can see these ration heaters do get the food pretty darn warm. And having a hot meal is really nice. Like if you were out, had to set up a tent and everything else, and you were stuck out from a fire or some other evacuation, major earthquake, it wasn't safe to be inside, and you had to be outside, needed a way to cook these real easily. This works. It works well. And what do you think of how it tastes?
Well, the section of tortellini I got was really good. I only got a little edge piece because I wanted to leave the rest for him. But it's still really good. I forgot how good this one was.
They're quite tasty. Like I said, there's lots of horror stories about how awful these things are. And I will definitely say, if you had to eat this every meal, same menu, constantly, over and over again, you would go crazy. That's why the military ones have so many variety. But if you had to deal with this for, a week or so, you could definitely do it, and it's not going to completely drive you insane. Actually, we've done it before. We've actually eaten them, I think, straight for like a couple weeks at a time.
Yeah, we have. And they work out pretty well.
And stuff. I mean, it's not the be-all, end-all of all food. However, they have a very good place in preparedness. and getting things done. We're going to have dinner now. I do hope you got to learn something, and it was an enjoyable video. Leave a comment. Share with your friends. Encourage more people to do things and prepare. And this is Reed and
Lee out for now.
Yes. We will be back, though.
Whoops.
Stay tuned. You may be wondering, so, what's the main difference between the military style and the civilian one? Well, in some way, let me redo that. This is going to be so many freaking cuts.
I know, it's bad.
Ay, ay, ay. Here, Lee, you can hold one.
I have a cat.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I have a cat.
Here, grab it in your mouth. I'm kidding.
Ah.
There's a good outtake.